Okay, so we did that simulation to give you a sense of the kind of experience that I want you to have in this course. I certainly want to challenge your mind. You know, it's an intellectual activity, it's higher education, it should be challenging your mind. But I also want to enthuse you. I want you to leave our sessions and leave this course with new inspiration and, of course, give you tools and skills that you can use, regardless of exactly what your job title is or what your career path is. The principles that we will explore are transferable to your personal life as well as to your professional pursuits. And our experiences together in our classes should feel not so much like the lecture hall, the sage and the stage kind of a thing. They should feel more like a laboratory. So in all of them, we'll be looking at cases. I'll be breaking you guys into, I'll be breaking you like that. I'll be organizing you in groups where you'll be working with each other and getting into the driver's seat of the information so that you can apply it quickly. And it makes it easier for you to remember if you have a chance to try it out, as opposed to just hearing me droning on and on. I think you'd agree. So how we are going to get there, that is the syllabus. The syllabus is going to be the map that shows us how we're going to get from where we are this evening, knowing absolutely nothing about marketing, to, at the end, becoming just marketing gurus. People go to get marketing information from us. So if you have your syllabus, I'd like you to get it out, whether it's electronic or whether it is printed. I'm going to pull mine up here on secondary tablet. But what you see on the screen are the assignments that you will be required to complete in order to earn points and get social media badges. Now, earn points, people love badges for social media, don't they? Unfortunately, I don't have any, but I should give you like a marketing expert badge you can put on social media. But until then, you get 100 points total, and you can see how this breaks out. Where did my Google Drive go? Okay, I won't look at this, I guess. So strange. Okay, the Google Drive app is no longer on that tablet. Because we have a lot of going on in each of our sessions, I want to encourage you to be at every one of our sessions. Now, as I mentioned, you guys have jobs and you have families and other commitments, and so things happen. So just let me know, and I'll do the best I can to help you recover the points that we would have had in those available to you in those sessions. We'll be discussing cases in class. You'll be reading them in advance and coming to class prepared to have intelligent conversations about the dynamics in those cases. So those are where you get your points. Typically, classes give you 10 points for participation. It's pretty much 10 points for showing up and having a pulse and filling a chair for the required time. Now, I want you guys to want to come here, not just fill a chair. And you're paying, so I know you want to. I give you a little bit more on this one because I expect a little bit more from you during our class times together. The On Writing Well essay that you should have all done by now. The reason I give you that, it may seem like, well, what does that have to do with marketing? So there is William Zinsser. So now you have a visual on this guy, and there is the book. And Zinsser was a New York Times journalist. He's a Columbia journalism professor, so he knows his stuff. And he provides a very interesting perspective on writing in his book. And as you read it, you realize it wasn't about spelling and grammar. It wasn't strunk and white elements of style, like, you know, how many commas should I put in a sentence, or should I end a list with a period. It wasn't the mechanics, it was a perspective, so that you can see that writing is an art. And I believe, and my experience has borne this out, is that writing, communication generally, but writing in particular, is a fundamental leadership skill. All the great leaders of history were skilled writers. Julius Caesar, Napoleon Bonaparte, George Washington, they all were known for their ability to clearly communicate in written form. The opposite is also true, and we've seen people who don't know how to write well, and people don't take them seriously. They think they're clowns. And you've received emails or memos from people with misspellings. It's hard to take them seriously. They may have great ideas, but because they can't communicate them clearly and professionally, intelligently, people don't buy into them. They don't champion those ideas. And as a result, their careers are stunted. And it's really unfortunate, but it's true. And I don't want to see you guys end up like this clown. People don't take you seriously. There is a process that goes on inside of our minds and it's connected with our hands. That's why I asked you what was the most recent book that you read. Francis Bacon, he was an English philosopher and scientist. He was quoted as saying something interesting. He says that reading makes the mind broad. And it's kind of like if you think about a painter. When you're painting, you say you've got a canvas, you've got your palette, you've got your brush, and on your palette you have black and white. Now that's nice. You can do a lot with black and white. You can mix it and have different, gray levels of gray, and that's you can make beautiful things with black and white. But it's very limiting, isn't it? Wouldn't it be much better to have at least the option to use blue or red or yellow or green or brown or purple? I mean, wouldn't that be so much more expansive? It expands opportunities. And reading is like adding colors to your palette. Especially quality literature, and Harry Potter certainly qualifies as quality literature. Just reading almost anything, just to keep your mind growing and expanding, like feeding your mind new ways of speech. Not that I'm encouraging you to become flowery writers, just the opposite. I want you to be clear first and foremost. And once you become clear and you become concise, then you can become compelling. But he said reading makes you broad, and writing makes you exact. How many of you have ever written, whether you've been typing or writing, have ever written the sound Has anyone ever written or You might have written but have you ever written that little placeholder we put in there because you don't know, our mouths and brains are out of sync and we have to try to resync them, like we don't want silence, so we just throw a sound into it. Better than that, I suppose. We don't write like that because it would make no sense. It's too much work. I mean, writing is hard work. It's one of the things Zinzer said. And so hopefully when you read that, it caused you to realize, why do I hate writing so much? It's hard work. It is hard work. We can all agree on that. But it's worthwhile work. And it's just like any other work, the more you do it, the easier it becomes, the more skilled you get at it. So writing makes you exact. And when you write things out before you present them, there'll be some presentations that you will do over the course of this course. And I encourage you to write out what you're going to say before you get up and you say it. And if you haven't done that in the past, what you should notice is that, one, you're more comfortable. The secret to presenting effectively and comfortably is preparation. There's no secret. Just prepare. If you have a hard time presenting, it's probably because you haven't prepared enough. So, and some people have to prepare very little. They just improvise well. And some people have to prepare for weeks in advance because it's a aptitude they do not have naturally, but they have to create it. But it is something that anybody can acquire that ability with practice. And I will know, if let's say you're a gifted speaker, you're comfortable in front of groups, whereas most people are petrified of public speaking, you are like, I love it. You're probably in the most dangerous, precocious situations because it's like a talented athlete who can go so far because they're just talented, but the talent prevents them from working. And because they don't have to work, when it comes to the pressure moments, they can't deliver because they haven't been training and disciplining themselves. So if you're a talented speaker, just know, I will know if you're getting up here and you're just talking and shooting from the hip, and you've not really done the research and done the work. I can tell. And everyone else can tell too. And most importantly, you can tell. And you're all MBA students, so you're paying way too much money and spending way too much time to not exhaust all of the opportunity that these courses provide you with. So in this case, before you present, write it out. And what you will find is that you're more comfortable because you've already written it out. You're not, what am I going to say from this point to this point to this point? You already know how you're going to get from where you start to where you're going to end. And you're going to bring us along effectively as well because your thoughts will be clear because you've already written them out. And you didn't write you wrote everything seamlessly. And also, on your writing, so that's why I had you guys do this, the Unwriting Well assignment was to get you thinking about your writing, not as drudgery like I put in the syllabus. Don't look at your writing assignments as drudgery. Oh, I have to write. but look at it as an opportunity to exercise or to refine that skill that is essential for you moving forward in your life, not just professionally, but personally as well. And that writing exercise, again, will help how you speak. And so there's like this cycle that goes on. The more you do of one, the more it helps the other. That makes sense? So that's what that assignment was about. It wasn't so much designed to inflict pain on you before we ever met. And why is he having us do this? But it was to help you get your mind primed for the kind of writing and communicating that I'm expecting from you. Okay, so back to our menu of assignments. So that was worth 5 points. You have online quizzes that you already completed one, and you'll have one due before every class, and it's designed primarily to encourage you to read and also to help you to remember things that you've read. So they're short, simple quizzes. If you read, these are just 3 points, and they're due on these dates. So basically before each class, at least the first 6 meetings. We'll have one online discussion about Coke and Pepsi's efforts to market their products in India. Okay, so that'll be a fun thing for us to know. We'll look at how that fits into the calendar as well with Thanksgiving break. We have a marketing concept report. Now this is an opportunity for you to dig down deep in a relevant topic, whether it is consumer behavior or viral marketing. That's always a fun one. How does viral marketing work? And there's a lot of research that's being done on that to unpack. How do you make viral content? Is it just like kittens and babies and you put them in a video and people just like start sharing it? Like that Microsoft Surface Studio computer video that I showed you, it was released on October 26th and it's now up probably close to 10 million views. How does that happen? There's lots of Microsoft videos that don't get that. Only 5% of videos on YouTube ever get more than 100,000 views. Viral content isn't just video content. The idea of virality in communication has been around since about as long as we've known about viruses. So what does it mean and how does it work? So that's just an example. You want to look at pricing strategy. You might want to look at product innovation. These are all relevant topics. You can look into the table of contents in the book and see, is there something interesting in there that I'd like to know more about? Maybe that'll help you in your workplace. And it will give you the opportunity to dig down deep into that concept and look at what does it mean, how does it work, what does research show. One of the requirements for that assignment is you have to use at least 3 peer-reviewed sources. And peer-reviewed sources are academic journals, university publishing, companies. Those are primarily peer-reviewed. So a peer-reviewed is not your textbook, although that is peer-reviewed. Peer-reviewed is not New York Times. Now you might go onto a site like Forbes or Advertising Age and get an idea. Like here's how McDonald's is using advertising innovations or using social media advertising to lift up its sales in Canada. And that might give you, okay, there's something there that give you the idea that then you can start digging down into. Okay? And because with the library's databases and online databases we have access to, you can just type in some words and you'll see you'll get a bunch of different articles back. And you want to, again, make sure that, it's not like you can only use peer review, but I want you to use at least 3, and I want you to use them in a meaningful way. Not just reference them in your citations and the references page, but also use them to help understand how does this thing work? And how, and most importantly, how can we apply it? I want you to look at companies that are applying this idea and explain how they're doing it and some best practices, and then how you as a marketing consultant would recommend people, other companies, leverage this phenomenon for their marketing advantage. Does that make sense? I don't have the syllabus in front of me. If you're on that page where it talks about the concept report, I do not believe I have page count, or do I? I try to avoid page counts wherever I can. No page count? No. Okay. That's intentional. I don't like page counts, especially at the graduate level. Did you find a page count? 3 to 4 pages. I have to eat my shoe now after having said to get all too far in my speech. Well, I will say this because it's true regardless. I don't like page counts because, again, you've all felt this, it's so arbitrary. And in a certain sense it is. A page count minimum is typically motivation to be thoughtful and substantial, not to be superficial, not to fill up your paper with a lot of opinions or conjecture, but actually with substance. critical thinking, influenced by the book, by the sources that you've come into contact with, the things you've talked about. So that's more important to me than the number of words or pages. If you can say it, that's the whole purpose of the On Writing Well essay, is to understand writing, removing all the clutter from your writing, and see, this is essentially what I want to say. And if I can say it in fewer words, then go ahead and do that. The more words you use to communicate an idea, the less likely someone is to understand it. If you can say it in 5 words, then do it in 5 words. Don't say it in 8 words, okay? But again, be substantial. Let's see, what else on that? I think that's it. So you'll see I have the grading rubric will be, and I think on I put on the Blackboard site an example, a concept report example, so you can see what an excellent report looks like. And in that cover page, you'll see there's a chart, a table, and it shows you how you can earn all 10 points. Is it 10? It should be 20 on this one, all 20 points. I think that one says 10. You guys say 20, you only got 10, so you should be just really excited about that. I'm sure everything else is correct. It is. Okay. In any event, you'll see the relative percentages. I mean, most of it has to do with the substance and the content of your research, of your report, but there's also part of it has to do with quality. One of the things is if there are more than 3 spelling and grammar errors, then you're going to lose a couple points for that. So make sure, and in the syllabus you'll see there's a section there about writing, and I'm giving you some guidelines, some advice on writing, both on your spelling and your grammar, on your editing. I learned the hard way an editing technique that will be very helpful to you, and I think I put it in the syllabus, which was to read what you write. Sometimes you can, and it happens to me all the time. I was writing something recently, I had my wife take a look at it, and she spotted a bunch of things. I was just looking at it for hours, and I was missing very obvious things. Having someone else look at it. But when you hear it, you'll spot things that you didn't see. So take time to edit. When you finish writing, you're not done. Put it aside, save it, save often in case the powder goes up, and then come back with a fresh set of eyes and do your editing work. It's like, writing is like you carved the granite out of the quarry. Editing is like now you're chiseling it away to create that sculpture, that masterpiece. And there is also, on the quality side, there's the spelling and grammar. What was the other one? Well, we go look at the example and you'll see. So you get clarity with regards to what I'm expecting from you, okay? So that's the concept report, and that is due on the 1st of December. Okay. Then, this is going to be a lot of fun. Team simulation analysis. The simulation itself is fun, and so is the presentation. So we're going to do an interactive simulation. It's a Harvard Business Publishing simulation. That will, by the time we get to that point in the course, we'll have covered some of the key topics about understanding customers and competitors and manipulating the variables of the marketing mix, product, price, place, and promotion to achieve a business outcome. And the simulation will give you the opportunity in that interactive environment to apply those ideas. And you will be, I think I've got some slides to show what it looks like. You will collectively be, as teams, the CEO of a medical device manufacturing company, and you'll be guiding this company through 13 quarters. Yes. You're inheriting the reins of control. The company has been in existence prior, which is going to be the case for most of us. We're not going to start company. Oh, we may. You're thinking about starting one. But often you're coming into an existing company, so you have to go, well, where's this company been? And what kind of baggage or momentum do they have that I need to be aware of? And so the simulation provides a lot of background information on the company, on your customers. In fact, you're able to watch little video interviews with representatives from each of your customer segments to find out what do they want? What are they looking for from us? You have 4 different, what they call large customer segments. You also have small customers that you sell to and service through distributors. You have to make decisions about pricing, about discounts for the different market segments, about how you're going to allocate sales force attention to the different segments. Because what you will learn in marketing, what you've already learned in life, you can't please everybody. Okay, you have limited resources, you have to focus them on the people that make the biggest difference to you. and you're making decisions about in the number of sales employees you're going to have on staff, how you're going to allocate their time versus large versus small customers, time that you're going to spend versus retaining customers versus recruiting customers. Should I send my people out to get new ones, or should I have them work with our existing customers? How do I balance that? You have a marketing budget, which includes integrated marketing, communications, promotions, and sales training. So that makes people aware of the products you have and educates them about what your products are so great and why they're worth paying the prices that you're charging. You're also spending money on marketing research to give you greater intelligence about the market and about your customers. And finally, you're making decisions about research and development. How are you going to improve your products over time to align with your segment's interests and their desires? And you have a fixed budget to do all that in. And you do that quarter by quarter over 13 quarters. Yes, you can get fired. Everybody gets fired. So when you get fired, don't go jump off the roof. At least unless you don't jump. If you jump into the pool, that could be okay. But that happened as part of the learning process. I've set it up so that you can do it an infinite number of times. And what I've seen is the people that do it more do better. Surprising, I know, it's shocking. And you'll do this as teams. You'll have you do it as individuals first, and then come together as a team so that the team isn't suffering because someone just showed up and said, oh, what simulation? I want you all to be competent regarding how the simulation works before you start burning up team time and resources. What else should I tell you about the simulation? Your score in the simulation is a function. I'll go back to that screen so we can see the points. Okay, so different screens you're going to see. As we get closer, we'll talk more about it. I also will put on Blackboard, if I haven't already, bless you by the way, a video where I overview the screens and help you understand what certain things are so you don't suffer for technical issues. Okay. You can measure customer satisfaction along your various segments and watch videos to see how they feel about your products and your service each quarter, if you're trending up or trending down. All very helpful. Okay, so back to the points. So 15 points, 15% of your grade. Part of your grade will be your score. So at the end of the 13th quarter, you'll submit those decisions. It'll pop up and it'll say, congratulations, and it'll give you a numerical score. And I've given you a scale in the syllabus so you can see what is an A, what is a B, what is a C, what's a D, and what's the Titanic. Now, you can do this as many times as you like. As a group, you can get together and say, we're going to do this 10 times, or we're going to keep going until we get, whatever, a 90. The highest I've ever seen was in this classroom. In fact, one of your predecessors got a 94. So that was pretty impressive. The highest you can possibly get is 100. But you can see in there what is required of you. So if you stop at a 45, it's just like you're saying, I want an F. I know that none of you do that. So that's part of your score. The other part of your score is your presentation. It's getting up here and as a team with equal contributions to the presentation, equal contributions to the work, because you all get the same score unless your team tells me there's someone who's not contributing equally. Or unless I can just tell, it becomes very clear to me that it's not equal contribution. Your ability to explain to us what was your strategy, how did you execute the strategy over the course of the simulation, and give us examples. You might take screen captures of certain places to say, okay, here was our result after we made this decision, we got this result. So take screen captures as you go. And then your ability to explain why you got the result you got, and then what you would do differently to get a better result in the future. So just because maybe you were able to get beyond 80, doesn't mean you can't still do well, particularly if you're able to explain why you got that result and what you would do differently in the future. Does that make sense? Okay. I think that is probably the most important part of learning experience, is see what can we learn from this and what would you do different. Now, I've set up a library, Harvard Business Publishing Library. There's a link on the Blackboard site. You may have already gone there. If you go into Blackboard, you'll see in this course there's a Harvard Materials link. You click on that, it takes you to the Harvard Business Publishing website. You need to create a profile if you haven't already. Once you do that, you'll be able to see the resources I've set aside for you. So there's some case studies in there that we're going to talk about during our class sessions, and there is a simulation. And you can purchase them all in bulk. You get a little bit of discount by purchasing that way, and you'll be able to access the simulation through, I think, the end of April. So you can play with it through Christmas, New Year's, have all your friends come over and say, hey, we're going to do a simulation tonight. It's going to be awesome. Okay, the last assignment, and I used to do simulation second and the marketing plan first, and I just switched the order one time with the group recently, and they thought this was a much better way to go because the simulation bears out the practical importance of the decisions that you're going to make when you develop your marketing plan. So the Kickstarter marketing plan is you, as teams, and maybe it's the same team that you would do for the simulation, those teams work well, will identify a product concept on the Kickstarter.com crowdfunding site, and you will develop a marketing plan based on that product. Now, Yeltsin asked me, he's got a business he's starting, and
already started 2 months ago.
You start 2 months, okay, but it's a new business.
Yes,
using one of your own businesses as the focus of your plan, and that's great. I love it. Like I said, I have had students that do stuff for their own businesses, and I love to see them investing their time and what we're doing in this course to help their businesses advance. I don't want you using anything you've already done in the past, for sure. It's got to be original work. But if your team agrees, if that can be the focus of your team effort, that works for me. So think about that. We're a little ways off from that. I'm just mentioning that's kind of how it will work. I have in the syllabus an outline that you'll follow. I don't know that I put an example on the Blackboard site yet, but if I haven't, I will. So again, you can see what does an excellent marketing plan look like. And this will be where you apply all the concepts we've been exposing ourselves to in an integrated, rational way. And you'll get to present about that. Make sense? And that brings us to this problematic date, 10/22. So, Yeltsin, you were mentioning that you were going to be gone, but you think some people might. I've had that before. As we get, yeah,
it's a presentation. So.
Yeah, it's kind of important.
Yeah.
There are things we can do. I've had students, if their team agrees to it, have one person did like a YouTube video, or did a video and then uploaded to YouTube, so then the other group members present, and they turn the video on, that person presents virtually, and then they go back to their live. You know, we can do that. Again, things happen. Try to avoid that, keep that from happening if you can, but we can find a way to make it work if you can't avoid it. Okay, so here's how that looks. Here's how our time looks together. So we're here tonight. That was an unnecessary statement. You guys already you read the first 2 chapters. You did the first quiz. You did the On Writing Well essay. And then between now and next week, you will read chapters 3, 4, and 6. You'll read the Microsoft case, which is again in the Harvard Business Publishing Library. It's part of that library that I've set up. All of these cases are in there waiting for you in the next quiz. And then the following week, another case. Then we have Thanksgiving. During Thanksgiving, we'll be doing this online discussion. Keep our mental juices flowing. Now, this discussion assignment obviously includes reading the case, and then you're going to create a graphic, either a perceptual map or a value curve, and you'll know more about what those look like as you go through the class and you go through the readings. And you'll engage in a discussion. And in addition to creating that graphic to see where all these different brands, these soft drink brands, fit in this landscape, you'll answer questions that I will pose. So you'll have one original post, and then you'll come back on a different day during that window, and you'll comment on someone else's post, either asking a question, making a comment, being, deeply critical, possibly. No. It's fine. I mean, I have no worries that anyone's going to be disrespectful or tactless, but engaging in a dialogue. So 2 posts, and I believe, the due date is going to be before the next class starts, so which I think is what I have that set up for. Make sense? So you'll have 2 weeks to do that. So you're at a leisurely pace. All right, and I think that is it. So, and I have probably gone way over, haven't I? Oh my Lord, it's on. You guys are, is Chick-fil-A closed? Oh my goodness.